Revelation chapter 5 verse 13 says, "Then I heard every creature in heaven and on earth and under the earth and on the sea and all that is in them singing, to him who sits on the throne and to the Lamb be praise and honor and glory and power forever and ever." The familiar feeling of his overshadowing love engulfed me as I sat before the Lord in deep prayer. Peering into the Spirit, I saw myself flying rapidly with Jesus over the earth. The Spirit lifted me up between earth and heaven, and in visions of God he took me to Jerusalem, as it says in Ezekiel chapter 8 verse 3. From a distance I saw its incredible beauty, snow-covered mountains and valleys shimmering in the bright sunlight, then a region filled with the lush green trees and beautiful foliage. Next, a region where trees lay dormant, waiting for the warmth of spring to touch them and bring them back to vibrant life. And last, a tropical land, brimming over with palm trees and soft breezes, glistening waterways. This was the magnificent earth that I gazed upon, that he made for his children to dwell on. As soon as our spiritual flight over the earth ended, he brought me to the summit of the mountain of intimacy, where he often takes me to sit and talk with him. Thinking that he was going to speak to me about the earth, I was quite surprised when he began to teach me about heaven. Heaven does not compare in its detail or in its majestic size to the earth, just as you have seasons on the earth. In heaven too, there are seasons. Those that love the winter months and the delights of freshly fallen snow and glistening ice will find them here. Others who, like you, enjoy the warmer climates will enjoy it to their heart's delight. My world is not boring, nor is it inclement. Never is the sun too hot, or the snow too cold, for the senses of those who dwell forever in my paradise. I delight to make my children happy, to see each one enjoy the dazzling crystal-like snow, and the beauty of my lush gardens gives me great pleasure. The earth, he explained, is but a faint reflection of my kingdom. All the beauty and glamour of the earth is like a shadow compared to the splendor and the size of my kingdom. Expounding upon his sovereignty, he continued, "Don't forget, I am the king. All that I create reflects my power, my love, and my greatness. My kingdom is not influenced by any, only by me. Sin can cast no shadow of death or darkness on my land, nor can it mar the infinite beauty here. Far greater than you could ever expect is the place I have prepared for those who follow my Son. Enlarge your vision and let your expectations grow. I am a big God, and what I made for my children reflects who I am." Ezekiel chapter 1 verses 26 through 28 says, "Above the expanse, over their heads, was what looked like a throne of sapphire, and high above on the throne was a figure like that of a man. I saw that from what appeared to be his waist up, he looked like glowing metal, as if full of fire, and that from there down he looked like fire, and brilliant light surrounding him. Like the appearance of a rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day, so was the radiance around him." A few weeks after this delightful encounter, to my utter delight, the Lord brought me back into my favorite place in heaven, the Hall of Miracles. Finding myself standing in the Spirit on the gleaming gold floor, I immediately ran and peered into the rooms that lined the long hallway. To my amazement, I observed that most of the rooms were empty of their contents. The Lord explained that those things that I had seen previously in these rooms had been released to the earth. Some of the hearts waiting to be given to those who would receive a new passion for Jesus had been sent to hungry men, women, and children. The room where I saw the sign of the outpouring of His Spirit was alive with activity. His Spirit had been poured out on those who had asked for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Their faith and hunger for more of Him had brought some of heaven into their lives. Angels were dancing and rejoicing with great enthusiasm. His messengers, who had, in obedience to the Father, brought the contents of these rooms to the earth, could not contain their joy at what the Lord was doing on the earth. Men were falling in love with their King and Lord. Holiness was being embraced as a lifestyle. The broken-hearted, lonely, and forlorn were healed and were rejoicing as they had never before. Marriages and broken relationships were restored. New ones were established. Lives were changed, and the angels were rejoicing because their God was well pleased. In an instant, I saw the other places I had visited in heaven. These regions were ablaze with excitement as well. All heaven was rejoicing with their King. The power he so longed for his people to have was sent to the earth through the great outpouring of the Holy Spirit. The work he began on earth was now bearing its fruit. Similar to the revival that broke out at Pentecost, the birth of the church, souls were being saved, lives restored, health returned. All heaven felt the same joy that was in the heart of their King, because they were one with him. This was not a manufactured enthusiasm, but it was a sincere, genuine excitement that emanated from everything in heaven. Just like I felt the Father's love pour out of every object in heaven, now I felt joy and excitement pouring forth too. As I cried out for more of that same joyful expectation that flooded heaven to fill my heart, I heard, "That is why I have brought you here today. I am releasing faith into your heart that will allow joyful excitement and enthusiastic expectation to fill you as it fills heaven. This faith will draw the things of heaven to the earth. My love, health, joy, unity, kindness, and patience. Faith fills heaven because all here know what I will do. The hour is at hand, and all heaven rejoices with me that my will shall be done on earth as it is in heaven." Isaiah chapter 6 verses 1 through 3 says, "I saw the Lord seated on a throne, high and exalted, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Above him were 6 seraphs, each with 6 wings, and they were calling to one another, 'Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory.'" Again, I was in the Spirit in the presence of the Lord, and to my great pleasure I had the diamond-laden long white robe on. Its elegance was unmatched by anything I'd ever seen. The Lord told me that each glistening diamond represented a deed that was done on earth for him, a prayer prayed, a kind word spoken, on and on. The largest diamonds and those in the most significant places on the robe were prayers offered for those who had injured me or even hated me. Obedience gleaned an enormous reward. Far greater than the incredible beauty of this robe, the majestic glory of my surroundings, the gold floor I stood on, and the palatial rooms around us, was the awesome presence of Jesus as he stood looking upon me. The overwhelming love that poured out of his eyes far surpassed all the elegance and opulence of my surroundings. Being bathed in his loving acceptance took my breath away and caused everything else about me to diminish in its importance. He was all I needed and all I wanted. Nothing else mattered in this place but being loved by him. Being loved by love himself was the greatest gift of all, one I could take with me back to the realm of the natural world. While absorbing his great love for me, suddenly he opened my eyes to see in the Spirit more clearly. Peering into the distance, my Lord took me by the hand and brought me to the entrance to the magnificent mansion. He explained that this was the home that he had prepared for me. Like a little child running through a toy store, my eyes darted throughout this exquisite home. In awe and in great delight, I saw solid gold fixtures in many of the rooms, elegant draperies and delightful furniture in every room. Many of the walls were decorated with sparkling jewels, marble, and other exquisite materials that I had never seen on the earth were found in most of the rooms. Adding to my great delight, an enormous heated pool filled another room. This swimming pool had the same water in it that flows from the throne of God. Anyone who enters it is immediately soaked in the love of God. Though the beauty of this house captivated me more than I can describe, I was more deeply impressed by the profound love and devotion our Father has for each of us. Only an enormous love could prompt anyone, even our God, to prepare such a magnificent mansion for each of us. Observing the twinkle in his eye, I was overjoyed at how pleased it made him to bring so much happiness to just one of his friends. Seeing the glories that have been prepared by our Father for his children is a joy that is difficult to describe. Leaving them behind to return to the things of the earth is easy to bear, because each and every time I'm there, he fills me with his love, the greatest treasure heaven offers. My robe hangs in my closet in heaven, awaiting my homecoming, but his love is mine to treasure in my heart and share with all I meet on the earth.